bilingual people might be better liars than the rest of us. And no, that's not an insult. It's actually backed by real psychology research. Let's get into it. Here's the setup. Scientists have long been fascinated by what happens inside the brain of someone who speaks two languages. Not just how they learn words, but how their brain handles switching between two completely different systems, all day, every day. And it turns out that constant switching trains a mental skill that has a surprising side effect. It makes lying easier. To understand why, we need to talk about something called cognitive flexibility. This is your brain's ability to jump between different tasks, rules, or ways of thinking without getting stuck. Most people use this skill in small ways, like switching from focused work mode to casual conversation mode. But bilingual people use it constantly, often without even realizing it. Here's why. Every time a bilingual person speaks, their brain isn't just accessing one language. Both languages are actually active at the same time. If you're a fluent English and Spanish speaker, and you're speaking English, your brain isn't ignoring Spanish. It's actively suppressing it in the background so the wrong words don't slip out. That suppression happens automatically, thousands of times a day, and it's powered by something called inhibitory control. Basically, your brain's ability to stop one response so another one can take over. Now here's where it gets interesting. Lying requires that exact same skill. Think about what happens in your brain when you tell a lie. You know the truth, but you have to suppress it and produce a different, invented version of events instead. One that sounds convincing, stays consistent, and doesn't contradict itself. That's not just creativity, that's executive function. Specifically, it's inhibitory control and task switching, working together in real time. So bilingual brains are essentially getting daily practice at the exact mental mechanism that lying depends on. Sorry, bilingual friends. I don't make the rules, I just read the research. There's actual research behind this, and it's genuinely fascinating. One well-known study, published by psychologists Rubio Fernandez and Glucksberg, looked at how children perform on deception and false belief tasks. Basically, tests that measure whether someone can understand that another person might believe something untrue and then act accordingly. The bilingual children in these studies consistently outperformed their monolingual peers. They were faster and more accurate at understanding another person's false perspective, and better at strategically producing misleading information when the task called for it. Researchers believe this ties back to something called theory of mind. Your ability to understand that other people have separate thoughts, beliefs, and knowledge from your own. Convincing lying actually depends heavily on theory of mind. You have to model what the other person knows and figure out what you need to say to shape their belief. And juggling two languages seems to sharpen exactly that mental muscle, because bilingual children get early practice constantly tracking which language, which words, and which social context applies to which listener. So bilingualism isn't just a party trick or a resume booster. It's basically cognitive cross-training. Every code switch, every moment of picking the right word in the right language for the right person is a tiny rehearsal in flexible thinking, perspective taking, and mental suppression. The very same tools your brain uses when it's being dishonest. Now, before you start side-eyeing every bilingual friend you have, it's worth saying that psychologists are still debating exactly how large this bilingual advantage really is, and some studies have struggled to replicate the effect consistently. Human cognition is messy, and no one's brain runs on a single, simple rule. But the core finding keeps showing up again and again. Switching between languages seems to build the same mental toolkit that makes deception easier to pull off convincingly. So the next time a bilingual friend tells you something a little too smoothly, you might want to ask a follow-up question. If you speak more than one language, let me know in the comments, and be honest. Or don't. I guess now we know you could go either way.